Dating is the time we learn to set healthy boundaries, and we set up the framework for relating through the rest of the relationship. It's the time for finding out about each other, and usually dating takes about 3 months. That's, if you are able to see each other on a fairly regular, consistent basis. I'm not talking about long distance relationships here, which are a completely different bag of tricks. Usually also during dating, we are on our best behavior, and so is our potential partner. And usually people can keep this up for about 90 days, about 3 months. And it is worth just flagging up that quite often some of the information that we receive during the dating period, and also the information that we give about ourselves, may not always be as honest as reality is. And that's part of just putting our best foot forward. Do not skip the dating phase in a relationship. It is vital in terms of setting the foundation for a healthy relationship. And one of the things is that there is a difference between being affectionate and being intimate, being sensual and being sexual. That is a decision that each person has to make as to when to become intimate. And my experience is that one of the things that is really useful in making that decision is having a peer group support around you of sisters, inverted commas, other women who you can talk to and share about that. Because sometimes left on our own, when those hormones kick in dating, the man is the pursuer. The man is the one who is going to do the pursuing. If a woman makes the mistake of making the first approach, of speaking first, of leading first, then what happens is either the man will move into the friend zone or he will eventually flee. You have to let him lead. And I know this is really hard for a lot of us because, we are successful out there in the world, and we've been winning, and we've been, running our own lives, and some of you will have brought up children. And now, here is a dating mentor telling you to let him lead. As a woman, it's our job to be receptive, to be open, to be approachable, to be friendly when a man approaches you. What I would ask you to remember is that he puts himself on the line. He finds his courage. If it's a public situation and he's talking to you, for example, he's risking public humiliation or rejection by approaching you. So I would strongly urge you to be kind, even if you don't like a man when he comes to you. But the first one to speak is always the man, the male. This sets up the dynamic energy of the masculine, which is that it's the man who pursues the woman. And if you think about it a bit more deeply, this is because the egg waits to be fertilized by the sperm. Be beautiful. The female, we use our attributes. We've been given beauty, we've been given beautiful hair, beautiful eyes, breasts, legs, curves, and all of these things. Men are very visually driven. We are more auditorily driven. That's why, a man's voice, on the phone or during lovemaking can be such a turn on for us. But we have the power to switch men from their logical thinking brain into their feelings, where they feel that they have no control at all. So sometimes when a man comes up and speaks to you, in the first instance, or, has the courage to telephone you or make some contact, sometimes their words can actually seem quite nonsensical or stupid. And that's not necessarily because the man is nonsensical or stupid. It's because he's scared. He's making this huge step forward. potential of this relationship and the potential of connecting with our womanhood at a deeper level can open us up to higher levels of connection and energy that I call the divine feminine. So don't deny these by staying in your masculine persona. I would suggest, if you are serious about finding a partner, that you take dating really seriously. You know, you get a makeover, you put yourself in situations where you're going to meet somebody. And I actually would suggest that during this dating, that you actually see 3 people at the same time. You actually date 3 people at the same time, because this keeps the window open so that even if one falls by the wayside, you still got somebody that you're dating. It stops obsession and it keeps dating light, which is where it needs to be. Being conscious dating, observing what is happening, how you are feeling when you are with your date, what is happening between you. The purpose of dating is to find a partner for life. So you want to find out things like, how much does he call you? Do you enjoy his company? Do you want to see him again? Does he, do you bring out the best in him? I mean, that's an interesting thing to think about. When you meet, does he give you his total attention, or is he looking at the waitress? Do you babble on when you're in a date? Do you talk too much? A lot of us do. Are their actions consistent with who they say they are? That's really, really important. For me, one of the most important attributes I look for in a man is that I can respect him. And having that parallel between the words and the actions is that it has to be there, or I lose interest straight away. Are they honorable and kind with others? Do they tip the waiter or the waitress? Do they open the door for you? I mean, not every woman wants that. I love it. Oh yes, meeting each other's friends and family, I think is also something that you can start to do during the dating phase. You know, like suggesting, particularly, you know, if you are meeting people through a dating app, if he stops pursuing you, if he stops calling you, he stops texting you, just wait. Be attractive, continue with your life, and just wait. Do not pursue him. Masculine men want to be respected and they need to chase us. Don't try to take care of him. You know, quite often I would do this. You know, I would send him a little text saying, it was raining today and that just made me think of you. Be authentic. Let him know that you like him if you do, and let him know what you like. A woman's confidence is very attractive, but that's different from being in confrontation. You know, when a man takes us out on a date and he's all cleanly shaved and he's, you know, got, nice clothes on, and, you know, he's maybe at Valentine's Day is going to get you some flowers or buy you a gift, you know, show him that you really appreciate the effort that he makes. These are the kinds of things that we're checking out when we're dating. I think that we have to be willing to trust and grow. And I think we also need to be willing sometimes to ask for help. For women, the rite of passage to becoming a fully mature woman in the age that we live in, sometimes it needs a guide, it needs a leader, a mother, an inverted commas priestess, a wise woman whose counsel is sought in establishing the spiritual and meditative practices to help us. So if I had to sum up my whole approach to dating, what I would call it is how to connect to the divine feminine for the modern woman. Because the hurt and pain, betrayals, loss and confusions that has come perhaps in many different shapes and forms due to relationship chaos is due to a disconnect with what I would call a higher power, that is infinite intelligence, source, God, whatever your word is for the all that is, and how that expresses in the divine feminine. Because actually all these things that I've been talking about, like letting him pursue, actually, when I go inside and I register with my feelings, my true feelings, I don't want to put myself out there and risk rejection. That's not in the early stages of a relationship. That's not, it's devastating. I don't want that. I actually need to feel that I'm pursued. When the intensity of your sexuality is awakened by the power of your ideal man, you know, when you meet somebody who is really happening, in order not to get thrown off balance, we need to stay grounded, we need to stay connected, we need to stay honoring our divine feminine, our feelings, and our deep emotional self. And that part, in my experience, is sometimes been masculinated for successful women because of years and years and years of having to play that role and being pushed into that role by society. And quite often because, yes, sometimes men haven't stepped up to the plate, you know, for all the same reasons that you know, for us, you know, dysfunctional childhoods, or, you know, having been hurt, that can happen for men as much as it can for us. So as we authentically connect and develop our divine feminine instincts, our intuitions, our sensitivities, our visions, a lot of the old patterns of controlling behavior, misjudgments, insecurities about yourself, having to push for things, that's a biggie, having to push for things. You know, the divine feminine is the receiver.